I think that what we can read from this report is basically Twitter's found the place that it's at. 317 million monthly active users. That's basically where Twitter's hovered for a while now. A little bit of an uptick. But I think for anybody expecting this to hit 400 million active users or 500 million monthly active users, that's a bit of a stretch. We can basically say that this is where Twitter's going to be for a while.
What about the fourth quarter? Because they do have this NFL deal on Thursday nights. A lot of people are watching it. We don't really have much in the way of statistics to parse on that. But do you think that there is anything, if not the election, if not the NFL, that could give Twitter that big bump?
No, I do not. And remember, this is a 10-year-old company. And I think basically what we've seen is Twitter go through the various stages of grieving for its business. You know, first we had denial when there was the IPO and Twitter told us there could be this really big business. Didn't believe that it was sort of capped. Then there was anger, people saying, where are the user numbers? Then it finally went into bargaining and it said, okay, maybe with Moments or the NFL deal or other live streams, it can get this bump. But still, the NFL's been going for a few weeks. Periscope's been live for over a year. And it remains where it is. So I think we're headed towards acceptance, where we say, look, Twitter is going to be a company with around 300 million monthly active users, makes a couple $1 billion a year, and maybe that's not that bad. I mean, think about the influence this company has had on the election and other major news events over the past few years.
But how do you value it then, Alex? Because it's been valued as a function of cash before. It's been valued as a function of its earnings, but that depends on whether you're using adjusted or GAAP. And now people are thinking about whether you value it as a takeout target. How do you look at it?
Good question. I think that this is going to be something investors need to really come to grips with. There must be some investors that still think that there's a bump waiting for it. But for those who have accepted that there isn't going to be that bump, you have to really decide what you believe Twitter can be. Now, look, I think they're making some good moves. They're laying off 9% of their workforce today, or about 350 people. That's going to cut costs. They can still do very well as a business, but is it going to be a huge business? I think you have to be skeptical about that.
What if you're one of the employees who is not getting laid off? How do you look at this report and the future for the company when it says it's refocused, it's realigning its priorities, it's realigning its business structure, and it's going to be basically a leaner and better performing company? Still paying about $150 million in stock.
Well, remember, we heard this last year. They laid off about the same number of people a year ago. A year ago, they said, well, we're going to readjust and refocus and make sure that our core product is good. Look, for 10 years, Twitter has been the same really great experience, which is it's the beating heart of the internet. You look at Twitter and you see what's happening right now, as the CEO, Jack Dorsey, is fond of saying. So that stream hasn't changed, and basically it shouldn't. It serves a very important purpose on the internet. The company is trying to figure out how to make money off of that. But if you think that there's going to be a grand strategy shift, I would ask what's happened until now.
Maybe it's not a grand strategy shift, Alex, but what strategy shifts do you foresee for the company? We had a board member, Brett Taylor, on my show yesterday, and he said, without a doubt, Twitter needs to clean up some of the language and some of the bullying and abuse on the platform. But even that has been something that's been hard to come by for the company. What can they actually get done?
Right, that's another good question. I think that they definitely need to put some stuff into place to curb harassment. One potential thing that's been floated and talked about actually being under development there is a keyword filter where I could basically say, all right, I don't want to see words A, B, and C, so please don't show it to me. It might make Twitter a more friendly place. But can this company do anything to make more people want to key into that stream? I mean, they've tried it all. The thing that I thought was something that could really make a difference was the Moments temporary follow, where you could follow things like the election or the Super Bowl, and Twitter will pop curated tweets into your timeline. So you don't need to really put all that effort into building a follow list, which has been a big struggle for new users. But that's been out for a long time now as well. And it hasn't made a huge difference in terms of user numbers. But by the way, let's take a step back here. There's been a lot of panic about Twitter's business over the past few years. You can spend the last 12 months reading stories about how Twitter is dead. But while the business isn't having such great success, the product might be its most vital in its history. Again, think about how it's played out in the presidential election. After that Trump tape with Billy Bush, that entire weekend was a weekend where Twitter was indispensable. Anybody who had the app couldn't put it down. You saw Republican after Republican saying, I support Trump, I don't support Trump. And then you had Trump firing back at people like Paul Ryan. So it's become this very important part of our culture. And its influence extends far beyond its walls. So I think people have been saying, oh, Twitter's in bad shape. What can Twitter do to grow? Well, you're looking at something that's just deeply influential.
Hey CNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Here you're going to find videos packed with all of the information that you need to be smarter about your finances. You can subscribe by clicking right here and click on all the videos around me or the eye right here to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.